So hello and welcome friends to our channel Intro Mech, and here we discuss about basic mechanical engineering concepts. So in our previous sessions we have seen that what are the machine design considerations that should be taken care of when you are designing some system or say some machine. So here is another part of that. We will deep dive into one of the important factor. So here is our customer requirement. You might have seen this. We have to design an automatic machine in which a job will be gripped and it will be placed from one place to another place, and the transfer is automatic, right? And what we have the design this machine, right, with all the parameters, and we have considered all these things for our machine. Now let's see what are the parameters that are required to be considered. We have seen this in the previous session, so it is just a quick wrap up. So we need a customer input data, which is the most important factor, and today we are going to focus on to that parameter only. We have already covered the other parameters in the previous session, so you can just check out the previous two sessions for that. So we have machine frame structure, water part consideration, pneumatic hydraulics, then piping and tubing routing considerations, manufactured part material and then a finish considerations, component locations, sensors and their mounting. So all these parameters are required to be considered. So today on which factor we are focusing is customer input data, because you are designing the complete machine based on the customer input data. So if we don't get a proper data, or if we don't ask for the proper data, it might end up into a different machine. So that is why this factor is the most important. So what parameters we have in this? We have a layout at customer end. This is a very important factor, because the customers have different layouts, the different location at which the machine will be placed, right? So the space which is available for the machine, we should know about that, because sometimes it might happen that our machine will not fit into their layout. So that's why it is very important to ask the customer for their layouts, how much space is available and all those things. So maximum floor space available for the machine installation, that is the important factor that we should consider. And of course the job 2D detailed drawings with the tolerances and 3D drawings of all the variants with all the sub assemblies, that is an important factor. We will see this in detail. And then the machine manufacturing standards, if any. So that means sometimes the customer has some specific manufacturing standards that are required to be taken care, so we should ask for that. So now here is one example. Now here you could see that this our machine which we have seen previously is going to be fitted into this location, right? So now it can be fitted into different orientations, right? So according to that, the space around the machine will vary, right? So customer might have some specific requirement that at this location the distance should be kept like say x mm, here y mm, z mm. So on that basis we have to arrange the components of the machine, right? So my first orientation will be this. Let's say if I want to change the orientation, I will change the orientation like this. Now again, what will happen in this orientation? The spaces will be different, the locations will be different, my operator panel is different. Now the operator is at this location, so the operator location also plays an important role. My electric panel is at the back side, so whether it is okay or not, so we should ask for that. Then we will have a third orientation, and likewise we will have a fourth orientation. So with this we should ask the customer which orientation is okay, and for that purpose we need the layout, this layout of the customer showing the dimensions, the available dimensions, how much maximum space is available. So all these things are very important. Here you could see there is a entry gate dimension, so your machine should enter through this door. So all these small parameters, but they affect a lot when you install the actual machine on the site. So we have to think from these small parameters, we have to think for these small parameters also, right? Then comes the drawing part. Now let's say you have asked the customer for the drawings and he sends you the drawing. Now I have this drawing right, and then I have this kind of drawing. Now you are, now let me ask you that which drawing is okay or which drawing will you accept. So my answer will be this drawing I will not accept, and I will accept this drawing. Now why is it so? If you could see this drawing, nowhere the tolerances has been mentioned. Now why the tolerances are so important? Because whenever you design some machine, now let's say I want to hold this part or I want to have some fixturing for this part. So in that case, if I don't have the tolerance of the part, then it might happen that some part will fit into my fixture and some parts will not fit into my fixture, right? So that's why these tolerances are very important. Now here you could see the OD of the part, they have given the tolerance value here. So that much variation will be there in the part, so my fixture should take that much of variation. In that direction I should design my fixture, and that's why this detailed drawing, this is the detailed 2D drawing, is very important, right? So you should ask the customer for the detailed 2D drawing of the part which is going to be fitted or which is going to be used in the machine. What else we have? We have the actual 3D variant. We should ask for the 3D models in the neutral format, IGS or step, to the customer. And why it is so important? Because you will be designing the whole machine based on that part only, right? So you have to see the projections. Sometimes it is not easy to, you know, imagine the part from the 2D drawings only, so the part might be very complicated. So having a 3D part is always a benefit, right? So you should ask for the customer for the part. Now let's say if you are designing the machine for the part, so it might happen that the customer have some different variations, the variants of the part. So you should ask for all the variants. Let's say the customer has second variation, it has 3 variations. So now you can observe that these 3 parts are not similar, they are not same, they have different, say, height, different OD, different size. Now this part has some kind of projection over here, so you have to think accordingly, and that's why this all data is very important. And along with that, you should ask the customer, the part should have all its sub assemblies, right? That means let's consider this part. So this is some kind of fitting which is attached to the job. So whether this fitting will be available when the part is loaded in the machine or not, that is a very important question. Because if you don't consider this part and if you design the part and at actual, if this part is present, your fixture will fail. So that's why it is very important to ask the customer for these things, like how many variants are there, is there any differences in these variants, if there are some sub assemblies which are going to be fitted into the part. So these kind of questions are very important, and you should ask these questions, you should get this information before going to the design. So this is something about the customer input data, and I hope you understood the importance of the customer input data and which things you should ask to the customer and how you think. So this is a little experience or that I have shared with you. There are so many other things that also you have to consider, but this is just a small input from my side, and I hope it will be beneficial, it will be helpful for you guys. And if you have any doubts, please do write into the comment section and we can discuss over there. Until then, stay home, stay happy. Thank you.